Hi there! Toki Pona is a language with very few words. One word can translate into several in any other language. When beginners first try to understand conversation, they'll usually be met with the saying, "Context will tell you everything." But what is context? Let's find out. In linguistics, there's three major types of context: physical context, linguistic context, and general knowledge context. To start with, let's take a look at physical context. The word kili can mean any fruit or vegetable, but if I have a fruit in my hand and say, "I'll eat this kili," we can understand that kili here means apple. We don't need to make a new word for every fruit, we can point to the physical context. Places and buildings are also physical context. For example, if we're at a train station and someone says the tomo is coming, everyone will get that tomo means train and not a car or tiny house. If what we're referring to is nearby, it's easy to figure it out. Physical context plays a major role in Toki Pona, and because of that, people tend to say that using Toki Pona grounds you in the present moment. However, does physical context account for everything we say? Nope. It may be the case that what we want to talk about isn't on hand. For this next segment, let's look at linguistic context. Ala. No, what? You don't know? But let's try that again. Are you hungry? Ala. Now we understand that the word no or ala conveys the message, no, I'm not hungry. If we didn't have that linguistic context, that other part of the conversation, no would just make us confused. In addition, try this one. What is a sike? A sike could be any round object, so let's add some context. My car isn't fast because the sike are small. Here, sike are, you guessed it, wheels. I watched an outdoor sport. In it, the sike was small. Here, sike is a baseball or other small sports ball. The moon orbits this earth. The sike is small. Here, sike is the moon's orbit. That's a lot of words for sike. If we don't have those sike next to us, we need linguistic context. When one pays attention to the conversation, the meaning of a word can change a lot. Linguistic context is crucial. Now you know about physical and linguistic context, but there's a third I want to discuss, so let's move on to general knowledge context, also known as common ground. There are many yan lawa or leaders, but which is which? If we're in the USA, maybe the yan lawa is Joe Biden. In the UK, maybe we're talking about Boris Johnson. And as times change, the specific yan lawa changes too. But if we stay in the loop, then it's easy to talk about different yan lawa. They are part of our general knowledge context. But I'm getting ahead of myself. What does this or that leader actually lead? We just talked about the yan lawa of countries, or presidents and prime ministers. But if we're in a company building, maybe the yan lawa is the CEO of the company. If we're talking about a baseball game, maybe the yan lawa is the umpire who upholds the rules of the game. The physical and linguistic context can tell us a lot, but these leaders are not right here, right now. In Toki Pona, we know which yan lawa we're talking about because we tend to know who and what kind of person leads what thing. We know that Boris Johnson is not the current umpire of Microsoft, and just because English has more nuanced words for these things, that doesn't mean we'll be lost without them. The general knowledge context, or common ground, is important in Toki Pona. So now you know all three major types of context and how important they are when you speak in Toki Pona. In a language with few words, the context allows us to stay on the same page without having to make up new words. But please do keep in mind that this is only one explanation of context. Linguists are actually still making new theories about it. But if you appreciate the terms here and find them useful, then by all means use them. Thank you all for joining and have a happy Toki Pona day!